So apparently it's frickin' Silent Hill today. These have been going off all day, and apparently there's some national testing that's supposed to be going on today. But like, seriously, when are the zombies coming out? We've been in here now since right after Thanksgiving, so the end of November. It's now the end of the first week of April. That's December, January, February, March. It's 4 months that we've been in here. I went over the roof and all of the seals on the roof with some Dicor self-leveling sealant before the cold hit, and I knew that the roof needed more maintenance. I just bought the RV. I'd spent a whole bunch of money on getting generators and other things ready for the RV in case we hit the boondock in the winter. It was a long, cold winter. Now that it's warming up a little bit, it's time for us to start doing some assessment of everything that the RV is going to need. Start up top, and we're going to work our way down. Alright. Whew. Scary stuff. Here we are on the roof. My 1995 Winnebago Vectra. It's a pretty solid roof, but as you can see, there are some spots where it's starting to wear through. It is in need of a resealing since probably way before I got it. When I bought it, I didn't know much about RV roofs. To be honest, if I'd known a little bit more, I would have definitely spent more time up here and probably gotten more money off than what I paid for it. But all that being said, all of these seals are actually really good condition. I can actually see that the self-leveling Dicor that I put down before the winter actually did a pretty good job. I resealed around all of these. I'm actually thinking about taking the satellite dish out. This might be one of the projects I do on the roof this year. It's just getting this thing off of here because I know it'll actually save a lot of weight. I want to get all of this old sealant scraped off. I'm going to take these lights off of here. I'm going to sand all of this front cap down. I'm going to sand all of this down actually so that we can reseal the roof. It's going to be one of the things that we do. You can see all of my handy seal work that I put down before the cold. This is actually all in really good shape. These seals are not bad. If you look, there's not much cracking. They look like they've been recently done. I've used this TV antenna. Matter of fact, it's on downstairs. That's what Bella's watching. Here's my fridge. I'm going to pull that vent cover off and clean that out. That looks like a fairly new cover. And I think the fridge is actually fairly new in there as well. This is a solar panel that hasn't worked in years. It's from 1995, so that will be coming off. I'm going to be taking off all my vent covers and cleaning. Again, we're going to be sanding all of this down. Here is the cover for my skylight in the bathroom. A little bit of water pooling right here from the rain. It's been raining for the last few days. Again, I want to get all of this stuff off. And I want to, you can see right here where it's kind of pulling off. So yeah, I'm gonna peel all of this stuff off if I can and reseal it. These caps are all loose on here too, so I'm gonna see if I can get a couple of better caps. You can see that one, the cap is completely missing. So I need to get in there and get something for that. Because I'm afraid that water might be getting down in here when I don't want it to be, so I need to figure out some way to seal that. This is actually holding up better than I thought it would, but there are some definite soft spots in here that need to be addressed. I don't know if you can tell. Let me see. Yeah, I don't like that at all. So that needs to be addressed sooner than later. I'll have to check that cabinet to make sure that no moisture's been getting in, because, man, I don't like the way that looks. You can see it's peeling up right here, so it's definitely failing. This is what I put down, the Dicor that I put down, so it's definitely not withholding everything. It probably got me through the wintertime. This was a patch that was previously on the roof. I'm deathly afraid of being up here, guys. And so when I first bought this RV, I came up here and looked, but I did not walk the roof like I should have. And it took me watching a few YouTube videos before I realized how important it was to really address your roof. And I don't think this roof is in terrible shape for the year it's in. I think I have some definite work cut out for me here. Sanding a 35-foot roof and resealing it is going to be a project. So we're going to have to find a week here, probably the first or second week of May, which is coming up in about 3 or 4 weeks, where we have some good sunshine for like 4 or 5 days. So I can really go at this and make sure that it gets done right. This is we're back out against this tree almost every single time. So I want to just check and make sure that my cap here is not taking too much of a beating. I can see the dicord peeling up right there. But the factory cap is holding there, so I don't know. I think I'm just gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna peel all this stuff up that's in this ridge. This is all part of this cap. I think I'm gonna take this piece off right here and scrape all this off and reseal all this. You can see this is like old and it's kind of coming up a little bit, and then I'll put this back down afterwards. So yeah, here's my roof. And again, you can see where it's just wearing through. It's wearing thin. Here's a rubber underneath, and we need to get that sealed. So I'm gonna probably put 2 or 3 coats of sealant on this roof in about 2 or 3 weeks. This part right here absolutely terrifies me. Having to climb down the ladder and get on it, it's so awkward. That's good for it. Hi, you happy I'm dead's off the roof? I'm happy I'm off the roof. Here's my generator I installed, and I am still planning on making a video of this coming up in the future. Basically, when I bought this 5,500 watt Onan, 6,000 watt Onan, the stator was busted inside of it, and so it would have cost me about $2,500 to get repaired. And so instead, I just kind of took it out. I still have it, but instead I kind of bought a Craigslist generator and took all of my wiring knowledge and kind of made it work in here. It's not the prettiest, like I said. I was in a crunch to get it done, so I wasn't able to really take my time and do it the way I wanted. But it's functioning. It runs off the fuel for the RV tank. As long as I have more than a quarter tank of gas in there, it'll start up and run. The problem I have though is that I don't know if you can see this, because I don't have all the heat shrouding and the metal case that the other generator was in here. I was worried about a lot of heat transference in here, and you can see I did a really good job of wrapping up this whole exhaust in heat tape, and that actually mitigates a lot of it. But I also took this heat tape and I took some Gorilla tape and I taped it up in the beginning of winter, and then I don't know if you can see in here, I also took strips of aluminum foil tape for like insulation projects and stuff like that, and I kind of like bridged it a bunch, and that helped over here. But over here you can see you can see it sagging, and this has been in other videos too. So I need to drop down this generator. I need to, you know, just inspect all these fans, maybe clean everything out a little bit because it was a long, salty, gross winter. Make sure that that there's no leaks, this generator is running properly. Check the oil, all that stuff. Just to make sure that the generator is going to work, because we will be boondocking this summer with it, and I'm looking into doing battery projects, so we do need this guy up and going to run things like the air conditioner and stuff like that. Next thing that we got going on here, take a handy dandy creeper. You guys remember in a previous video, I had a little bit of a brake leak here, it looks like, and my reservoir was empty, but I don't see any wetness on the wheel. So I'm kind of wondering if, and you don't see any kind of thing puddling down here that would be indicating that there's any kind of a brake leak. And so I don't think there's any kind of a brake leak. I think I might have just been low on fluid. So I do have to keep monitoring that fluid, and some of these tires I think are a little bit more dry rotted or dry cracked, or starting to. So I gotta go through all these tires and take a good assessment of them to make sure I don't need to replace them. These airbags are functioning and they're really good. This thing has an air leveling system in the back here, but this thing was on some salty roads this winter, so we're going to take this to a car wash here in the next couple of weeks as well. I'm going to spray all this down, and then I'm going to get a good rubber protectant like you would for your tires, and I'm going to spray all the tires down. I'm going to spray all the airbags down, and I'm going to get all the rubber on this thing coated so that we get a lot of life out of this. And actually, you can kind of see on this one, a lot more dry cracked than the other side. So this one might actually need to be replaced sooner than later, but I can definitely help its life. I'll get some like armor all protectant or some kind of rubber sealant, and I'll get these nice and coated so that I get at least another season out of those. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to replace that airbag sooner than later. All right, I cut all these back in October, November when I knew we were moving in. And you can see there's a nice thick pieces of R12. So I shouldn't be taping them off, just so you can see right here where I cut. They've been like leaving little styrofoam shavings pretty much everywhere in here. It's my Vornado. I have my water tank heater. It was actually pretty cold last night, so I turned that heat lamp on. Look at this pretty puppy right here. Give me that. Gimme. Go do it. Go find it. Where's it? Go find it. Go find it. But anyway, I have that heat lamp on in there. It got to about 28 degrees last night, so I just want to make sure the water wasn't going to freeze in here overnight. So we do carry our water on board. I think we got a little over half a tank right now. But this is going to need to be sanitized. I didn't get to sanitize it beforehand. We don't drink with this water, but I do want to get some bleach in here and clean everything out. Okay, now we're at our Wastewater Bay. My heater's back behind here, and I can access it actually on the inside of the motorhome. It definitely needs to have a thorough cleaning. I'm going to grease all the bearings in the fan wheel as well. So we're going to do a video about that coming up. This heater actually worked all winter for us. Did a really good job. And I want to make sure that it stays running for winters to come. This thing we'll walk over here is the water heater, which has been the bane of my existence, guys, to be honest with you. You can see all the carbon buildup here and this is actually, wow, it's so hot that it's actually chipping. But basically, when I got this thing, it was not running efficiently at all, and I don't think it's been running efficiently for years. I got it so it's actually burning real clean now. It was carboning this up, and I'd have to come out and clean everything up every couple of days. But I adjusted this vane finally, and man, I watched so many hours of YouTube videos on how to adjust these old things, and I think I finally figured it out, and I got really good at it. The problem is that I still have these ground issues. You can see that this one's pretty old. And then there's another ground issue here in this plug that I'm having a problem with on that wire. So what I would like to be able to do is just to get a whole new regulator here, get a whole new board, replace these thermostats that are inside of here, replace this guy as well, get a new igniter. And then I'm gonna have to take this plug out and rinse this tank out, because I don't know when the last time this has been done, and I know it's probably really gross in there. And I think I'm gonna replace that with a metal plug as well. This is the one I can't wait for. Get this all done. I'm gonna be really happy. Okay, here is my refrigerator maintenance port. If you have an RV, guys, you really should be opening up all of your maintenance hatches. At least, you know, if you're gonna full-time, I would say every 3 to 4 months, or every time you're gonna use it, if it's been sitting for a winter or whatever. You can see there's a couple of things in here that need to be cleaned out. These refrigerators, they tend to run really hot, guys, and so I want to get in here before it gets too warm, and I want to clean this out really well, because we do full-time in this, and like I said, it is a newer refrigerator, but I want it to keep working. And I might even, not even might, but I'm going to figure out a 12-volt computer fan that I can mount to the back of this, that it will push some air out of here. Let's see. Tab slides right in there. It clicks on up at the top. And this one has these little plastic turnstiles. Ooh, they kill your fingers, but you seal it nice and tight. The next thing is this Coleman AC. So one of the things I really do like about this RV is that the AC unit is not on the roof. It's put down low, so its handling characteristics are actually a little bit better. For not that you're, you know, really need handling characteristics on an RV. The problem with this is when I bought it, it was advertised as not working. It says it blows cold sometimes, but it doesn't know much about it. So I'm gonna have to hook a set of gauges up to it. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of knowledge on these Coleman Winnebago ACs. I'm pretty sure I can figure it out and get us AC. So, I mean, I figured out the generator, so why can't I figure out this, right? This was damaged when I bought the RV. Apparently it backed into something. And that's fine, because this is pretty sturdy. It's mounted. But over the course of my ownership, it looks like this was bolted in. That bolt there, you can see rusted out. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get that in there. I got some cracks in here that I gotta fill. Let's see, you can see right here as well on the back I have some cracking. And if you look down the side of the RV, I do have some side bulging starting to happen here. I thought this side was actually pretty good, and then I looked the other day and I noticed that there's actually a pretty good sized bulge right here. You can see. But yeah, I don't really think that's a good sign. All right, so this happened in the middle of the winter. This happened a lot. There's a video of us fixing the TV mount. Basically, I don't know who put the Velcro on here, but they didn't really Velcro this properly. It had a plexiglass door in here, and there was a bunch of space. So I think I'm gonna try and use a more permanent tape solution for whatever I put in here. I might put the screen back in, but I might not. I might just do what they did and keep that plexiglass. But just mount it in there better after I take these stupid pull strips out. We got the hood open on my 1995 Winnebago Vectra. Just want to go over and talk about some of the things that need to get done this year on it. There's not much you can see when you open these things. Basically, the only access that they really give you here is to check the fluids of the transmission and the oil and the radiator. But we're going to take the doghouse off the engine cover from inside the RV this year, and I'm going to do things like change the spark plugs, the cap, the rotor, all the wires. We're going to look at all the valve covers and the oil seals and just make sure that the engine is running as well as it can be. This has only got 60,000 miles on it, so I want to keep this in fairly good working order. Over here we got the electrical box. You can see that. I'm also probably going to take that apart this year, and we are going to maybe clean up some of the electrical connections in here and just make sure everything's tip-top. Just take some time to show you underneath the suspension. So other than the engine projects, I also want to get under here with a grease gun, and you can see there are plenty of grease that's under here as well. I know you got one down here on the bottom of the ball joint and the upper ball joint, all your steering linkages. I see we got new sway bar bushings in here, so it's kind of nice. But I just want to make sure that everything under here is nice and well lubed. I see some transmission lines there. I'm also going to take some rubber dressing, and I'm just going to coat all the radiator hoses and the transmission lines and the tires, the suspension airbags, everything that's rubber on this thing. I want to make sure it's nice and coated, like these power steering lines and stuff coming out of here, just to try and fight some of the aging that's been going on. The last thing outside that really needs our attention, not really a lot of attention, but these stairs, because they've been running all winter. We've been driving this RV in the salt-covered roads of Minnesota. As you can see, I already got some lithium grease sprayed on all these joints, but I'm gonna go ahead and get back here this year and probably clean all the electrical contacts on this, and just make sure that the motor and the gears that drive this are all nice and lubed up. Here is the underside of Artemis. You can see there's not really any leaks coming out of anywhere, which is really nice. This is a very low mileage RV for the year. It's 1995, but only has 60,000 miles on it. So the goal is to just keep on top of the small maintenance items that would come up here so that we don't have any larger issues that would prevent us from living in here full time. So we're inside now. I think we've covered everything outside that's going to need maintenance this year. But I wanted to show you guys the few things that are needed inside of here. It's not nearly as bad as the outside is. Not that the outside I think is that bad. I think a lot of people in our videos notice the first thing is our sagging ceilings, and this might be the only part that's really not sagging, but all of these are sagging. So up here is kind of where they're the worst. They're starting to pull away here. Now when I first looked at this, I wanted to make sure there was no water damage, so I did get up in the corner of these and I looked at all these. So when I bought this RV, I actually went up and looked at all of these cabinets all the way going in the back and made sure that there was no kind of signs of water damage coming in here on the wallpaper or anything. So even though you see that these ceilings are really droopy, there's no moisture buildup in here, and you can see it's just the foam backed insulated plywood, I guess is what it is. Is what it would have been back in the day. So I'm gonna go to an auto parts store and I'm gonna buy just some spray adhesive, and we're gonna try and see if we can spray some on this and get this to stick up here a lot better. You can see that these faucets are pretty much from 1995. They're not bad, but they're just very dated, and we don't have a whole lot of room for washing dishes under here, especially with the height of these cabinets up here. So one of our projects this year is going to be to replace all of the faucet hardware in Artemis. See more of the adhesive coming down, or the roof vinyl coming down. And this light right here has never worked. So that'll be on our list of things to do. Closet doors are probably pretty cool in 1995. Problem is this one sort of works if you lift up on it. The bearings and the hangers are getting old, and this one is completely separated. I don't know if you can see that, but the pole, the metal bracket for this is completely separated, and there's semi-sharp glass right here. So we've been having to deal with this all winter. It's been too cold for us to address this. So I think what we're going to do is we're actually going to take both of these closet doors out of here and open it up a little bit in the bedroom. It doesn't feel as cramped in here, and also we don't have to deal with this 27-year-old glass sliding mechanism. It's probably been moving and shaking too much, and it's just all off track. It was a good idea at the time, but I don't think I'm going to replace it with anything similar. I'm just going to get rid of it. So as you can see, we got a lot of stuff that needs to be done around the RV. I had a lot of projects before winter hit, and when it's negative 20, negative 30 degrees outside, you're not really getting a lot done. You're just kind of focused on surviving through the cold. So now that it's warm, I think we're going to be starting up on the roof. And then after that, we'll move on. You know, we'll just, we'll keep going project from project. And I want you guys to really get a good idea of what it takes if you think that you're just going to buy a used RV and move into it. And I'm glad we did. It's definitely been the right move, but it doesn't come without a lot of TLC and homework.